Students, this is my video on the class 8 chapter The Best Christmas Present in the World Part 1 and Part 2. But before starting the chapter, I would like to do with you a quick recapitulation of the word meanings which are given in our books. So let's begin the word meanings of the best Christmas present in the world, part 1 and part 2. The first word is brute, which means animal-like or it means cruel. Second is carol, which means a joyous Christmas hymn. Next word is clumsily, which means in a awkward manner. Next is Fritz, a name for Germans. Generously, which means large-heartedly. Junk means discarded material. Marzipan means small sweet cake of almond paste and sugar. Next word is mingling, which means mixing. Next word is parapet, which means a low wall made of earth or stones. Next is ration, a fixed allowance of anything, example of food. Next word is restore, which means bring back to the original state by repairing. And next is schnapps, strong drinks, means something strong drinks plus alcoholic drinks. Next word is scorch, it means burn a surface with flame or heat. And next is crupples, which means morals. Next word is taken, this is a phrase kind, taken their toll, which means damaged part or left impact. Next again the word phrase means that would be that. That would be that, which means the matter would end there. And Tommy means a name for British. And trenches means deep ditches dug in the ground. Veneer means thin outer coating on furniture or wood. Now I am doing the best Christmas present in the world part 2 vocabulary word meanings with you. First word is boarded up, which means covered or closed with slabs of wood or clothes or leather. Next is conservatory, a place where people in fragile health means not good health, fragile health are looked after. It's a kind of nursing hospitals. Entitled to, deserve something. And loop-sided means title tilted to one side, it is tilted to one side. Matron means a woman in charge of nurse at a hospital. Mince pie means a small round pie. Muddle-headed means confused. Stroked means patted gently with hands. Suffused means filled with color or emotions, etc. Tenderly means softly. Vacantly means with an empty-headed expression. And whereabout means location of a person or a thing. Wicker means plaited twigs of which baskets, chairs, etc. are made. And wispy means small in size. So here we have come to an end of our word meanings, and now I would like to begin with you my chapter explanation. But before I start with my chapter explanation, I would like to brief you all with the writer of this chapter. So the writer of this chapter is, this chapter is written by Michael Morpurgo. Michael Morpurgo, an English author, playwright and a poet. He was born on 5th October 1943. He is known for his children's novels such as War House, which is written in 1982. His work is noted for his magical storytelling, means his way of writing the story, or it's kind of a narrating a story is a very magical, means it is very it touches the emotions of a person, and his basic themes of writing is based on the triumph, survival, or characters' relationships with nature, and for vivid varieties. Morpurgo became the third children's laureate, which is a big honor to a person or to a writer, from the year 2003 to 2005. Here the word Lawrence means an official high honor. Okay. So now let's commence our chapter part 1. I'm going to read it and then I'm going to give you explanation side by side. So let us read a quick reading. I'm giving it to. I spotted it in a junk shop in a bird port, a roll-top desk. The men said it was early 19th century and oak. I had wanted one, but they were far too expensive. This one was in a bad condition, the roll-top in several pieces, one leg clumsily mended, scorch marks all down one side. It was going for a very little money. I thought I could restore it. It would be a risk, a challenge, but I had to have it. I paid the man and brought it back to my workroom at the back of the garage. I began work on it on Christmas Eve. I removed the roll top completely and pulled the drawers. The veneer had lifted almost everywhere. It looked like water damage to me. Both fire and water had clearly taken their toll on this desk. I struck it sharply with the side of my vest, and drawer flew open to reveal a shallow space underneath a secret drawer. I reached it and took out a small box of black tin box. Sellotaped to the top of it was a piece of lined notepaper, and written on it in a shaky handwriting, Jim's last letter, received January 25, 1915. I knew as I did it was wrong of me to open the box, but curiosity got the better of my scruples. It usually does. Inside the box there was an envelope. The address read, Mrs. Jim Macpherson, 12 Copper Beeches, Birdport, Dorset. I took out the letter and unfolded it. It was written in a pencil and dated at the top December 26, 1914. Students, I am not going to read the letter part. I am going to give you complete explanation that what is written in this letter part. Okay, this you can read it down, you can read it out from your books, because all of you are having the books. So I am only going to give you the explanation of the letter part, which is written, what is written in the letter. So let's begin. The creator Michael Morpurgo had purchased a high-class desk from the garbage shop, which was of the mid-19th century. When he took it for re-establishing, the drawer was stuck, and he utilized his most extreme energy to howl it out, or to make it out, to move it out, to open it. And as it got opened, he saw a letter which was written to Connie by Mr. Jim Macpherson. At that point, a feeling of curiosity ran in the mind of Michael to know what was written inside the letter, and he started reading the letter, and he found that Mr. Macpherson was the pioneer of England army, and he portrays that the England and Britishers were occupied with a war. On the Christmas day, one wonderful thing had happened. Now, what is that wonderful thing happened? This Mr. Jim Macpherson has shared in his writing. So, I am going to do the direct explanation of the letter. It says, through this letter, Jim Macpherson had penned down, he has written down his lifetime experience to share with his wife Connie. In the darkness of war entity, Jim had really experienced the light of hope, which would be one day could become the reflection of unity and peace. In the letter, her husband, Connie's husband is Mr. Jim McPherson, has happily narrated an incident. It was Christmas morning and they were standing in their trenches. He observed a white flag waving from the side of German soldiers. They called out Happy Christmas loudly. Soldiers from his side also wished them back cheerfully. However, the air was filled with confusion of thoughts and they doubtful to share snaps and sausages. About 12 soldiers started coming towards them in no man's land. Initially, the narrator was apprehensive, means something unpleasant may happen. Still, he made no efforts to stop them because he was rather happy that they were celebrating happiness with his enemy soldiers. He further added that he liked the way the German officers came towards him and introduced himself. He wished him Happy Christmas and told him that he used to play cello in the orchestra. And then Mr. McPherson greeted him back and replied that he was a school teacher from Dorset. He shared rum and sausages. He spoke almost perfect English. He was surprised. Who was surprised? Mr. McPherson was surprised to see Dusseldorf speaking good English. Here the word Dusseldorf means native of small industrial city in West Germany. He also knew how much the Dorset, where he never went. The source of his information was nothing else but he was keen of reading English books. This way they discussed Belsaheba, Gabriel, Oak, Sergeant Troy, and Dorset. His family includes wife and a son. The letter further read as the narrator had the best time with the enemy celebrating. Next, the fun element was that they played football match. What they played? They played the football match. They made goalposts by pitting their great coats, means the coats, big coats they were wearing. With that only they have made their goalpost. Hans Wolf and Jim McPherson wanted to resolve the differences, and soldiers on both the sides wanted peace and unity, no differences on wars. They even came to a point where they discussed that sports can be a better solution of these wars, as in the sports no life is endangered. What more, they played football match in which Germans had won the match. In short, we can say, students, that soldiers of both sides wanted peace. When they bid goodbye to each other, and both the armies felt that the Christmas day and night was a memorable one. They exchanged carols, silent nights from German side, and while the shepherds watched from the England sides. Carols here means religious praise and worship song. Jim concluded the letter by saying that both armies wanted the peace. Thank you.